Hello and welcome to this week's The Monocled Gamer Tuesday post about Monday's blog post on Dark Souls. If I seem slightly distracted, it's because I'm downloading DLC 4. Anyway, let's talk about Dark Souls. I don't really want to go over what I wrote about in the post. That's a normal thing, boys and girls. So instead we're going to talk about what I didn't mention much of. Multiplayer. Now, for a game like Dark Souls, which is, as mentioned, a very challenging, dense RPG, melee combat based, there's some magic, miracles, that kind of thing. But normally you wouldn't expect a lot of multiplayer. And that's the beauty of this game. Dark Souls developers from Software have added what I truly believe to be a unique and brilliant multiplayer component. First off, you'll find messages written on the ground as you play. These messages, you just hit A to read, and they are actually messages written by other players on the ground using an item you can buy for a very small fee in-game. And it will show up to other players so you can either gloat because you pulled something off, tell everyone that you're not good enough to do it, or the two more usual options, give hints and tips to people to help them defeat particularly challenging things, or warn them about upcoming traps that kill you, or you can mess with people. Now, you don't have the ability to put anything, which is good in my opinion, because it avoids all the people who just put penis all the time, and that would be boring. So instead, how people are devious about this is that they lie. They'll tell you to jump somewhere where it's a horrible idea to jump, you'll die. They tell you to run up and attack something that will mess up the game for you, probably. You know, attack this NPC who is super powerful, by the way, and will be perfectly nice to you unless you hit them with a sword in the face. And the beauty of it is, a little while later, another message will pop up by that one that says, liar! I love those. So I think that's just a beautiful component. You can pick it up. You can rate messages that you receive, letting people know they're trustworthy or not, things like that. It's just a very cool feature. Yay, downloaded. Anyway, another thing that I personally love about multiplayer is that you can find bloodstains on the ground and see translucent phantoms of other players. These phantoms are representations of other players in their last moments before death. If you touch a bloodstain or see one of these pearly translucent phantoms, you can watch what they did. And while you can't see what they were fighting, you can see their actions and where they went to get an idea of, oh, they died when they ran in there. There must be a trap. That kind of thing. It's just handy. It also can make you feel good if you survive something someone else clearly didn't. But the most interesting component of multiplayer, I believe, is the ability to enter other people's games and have other people enter yours. As mentioned in the Monday blog post, you basically naturally exist as an undead person. However, upon finding humanity, you can use that humanity to become human again, to become flesh and blood, a whole person. Upon being flesh and blood, you can summon other players as phantoms into your world. This is really cool. It basically means that against boss fights you don't think you'd be able to do on your own, if you can find someone who's gotten an item in-game that you get for free if you talk to a person, and put it on the ground, you can walk over to that symbol. You can only see when you're human. You can walk over to that symbol. It'll say, summon this person, and then you summon them to your world. And they're going to give you a hand. Now, there is no voice chat, so you really have to work with that person using the game's gesture system, pointing directions, and trying to make the best use of each other's skills in whatever situation you're working on. What I find particularly interesting as a counter to that is the Black Phantom system, which basically allows players with a certain item to invade other players' worlds. And once you've invaded someone else's world, your goal is to kill them. Because upon killing them, you take their souls, their experience and currency, and any humanity they have. And then you return to your world. And you can just keep pillaging once you hit that point in the game. However, it is risky at the same time, because if you pillage someone and they go back and they purchase an item in-game and a Book of the Guilty, they can add your name to a list in the Book of the Guilty, a hit list, essentially, a divine hit list, that will start sending pretty much endless mini-bosses after them, wherever they're at in their game, to mess them up and kill them, as retribution, as punishment for the guilty. In case you were wondering, yes, that was Christopher Eccleston's Doctor Who, from the first episode, saying run for your life. It's my phone. Anyway, really, I just think these are fantastic little things. You can play with other players, you can fight other players, which is something that a console game like this, particularly this kind of RPG, has never really done. And it's handled very well, in my opinion. It's tasteful, it's not overly intrusive or anything like that. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. And the writing on the ground is generally useful. You want to read it. It lets you know when you're going to be in danger, when you're going to be safe. And yes, sometimes it messes you up, and sometimes it kills you. But you die a lot in the game anyway. These kind of things happen. And then you learn better what kinds of things to trust and not to trust. Also, they can occasionally be funny. So anyway, I hope that gave you a little more insight about the game. I really urge you all to go pick up Dark Souls, at least for a rental. It's worth it. I honestly think if you rent it and you're the kind of player who gets into that kind of game, you're gonna buy it. It's that good. I am super happy with it. Outside of that, have a great day. See you next time.